Hey everyone, it's Marcus again. Sorry to interrupt your conversations. So Senate starts in the next like 3-4 minutes, so get excited. First one back in the semester. But we have UPC coming to talk to us during our first open period, and they brought donuts from Varsity. So feel free to go back to the viewing area to get them, and we'll start Senate soon. Thanks.
Okay, Student Senate, I know it's a full house tonight, but go ahead and start finding your seats.
I don't know what's going on.
Right. I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right, we'll now move into first roll call.
Al Abdullah. Al Madani. Beasley. Belina. Betancourt. Bond. Booz. Bowers. Brency. Burke. Carlson. Carr. Clark. Clements. Coggeshall. Colasico. Cruz. Dowd. Frederick. Gallardo. Gillespie. Glasscock. Hamlin. Hines. Huffman. Jabin. Jonak. Kelly. Kerperin. Kidd. King. Koger. Kurzweil. Coleman. Lomshek. Lux. Matos. Meinhardt. Moore. Oxner. Orzakowski. Pelton. Payton. Phillips. Rivera. Rodriguez. Reichert. Seidel. Slichter. Smith. Snyder Ben. Snyder Blaine. Spellman. Wallace. Ward Kelly. Ward Shalin. Watkins. And Whitmer. And Zimmerman. And we have, okay. We have 46 senators present, and then 12 absent.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and move into first open period. Our first open period speaker tonight is Corey Williamson, Executive Director of the K-State Student Union and Union Leadership.
All right, there we go. Once again, how y'all doing? Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so first of all, thank you for the invitation to come and speak with you. I always look forward to this opportunity for no other reason, just to put a face with a name. I've been here now for about 1.5 years, and it's been a great experience. I'm an alum of Kansas State, so I am glad to be back home, and I am appreciating the experience and the welcome back that I've received up to this point. So the purpose and goal of today is to really inform those who are not aware, educate you on the various opportunities that we try to engage students in the work that we do in the union. I think you all know that the work we do would not be possible without great student leadership, and that leadership includes both student employees and our volunteers. So we have our student volunteer leaders up here today, and so I'm not going to be before you long. Just have a couple of updates I want to give you, then I'm going to pass it over to our great team here. So first and foremost, how many of you have heard of the Wildcat value meals in the union up to this point? Keep your hands up if you've taken advantage of the Wildcat value in you. Very good, that's encouraging. So the numbers are showing that we have served upwards to a little bit over 15,000 Wildcat value options just in the fall semester alone, which is really encouraging from the standpoint that we estimate that saved around $22,000 out of the pockets of those who took advantage of those opportunities. So, oh yeah, go ahead. That's a great place to. Great place to. Obviously, food insecurity is an important and critical topic on our campus, and we're doing some other things such as the Roundup program and our Union Kitchen area. But that's a program we want to continue to promote, is the Wildcat value, because once again, that was one of the concerns that was brought to my attention my first day on the job when I met with students. And the concern was we have great options in the union, but we don't always have access to those options. And so I'm glad that we are creating those opportunities. Also, we have done some moderate enhancements within the union, thanks to student support. The banquet rooms, one of which is the Cottonwood Room and the Flint Hills Room, both of those spaces have seen a facelift over the winter break. So if you have not had an opportunity to go check those spaces out, I encourage you to do so. The spaces had gotten so bad at one point, I think we took a photocopy of the wallpaper and taped it on the wall to cover up a hole. So just to give you an indication of how bad it got up there. So one opportunity that you will have if you take advantage of it, we actually have our first UGB meeting of the semester, and it will be in the Cottonwood Room, and it will be at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So if you have an opportunity, I would encourage you to come and join us during that meeting, because the union is also undergoing some strategic planning initiatives and processes. My first year, I spent a majority of that time really just going around listening to campus stakeholders, to students. And so now that I'm in my second year, the focus has been on putting together a strategic plan on how we're going to move forward. And so we have done what we've called a appreciative inquiry exercise. Actually, the first exercise was facilitated by the Leadership Studies program. And so now we've had a couple of our team members conduct that exercise with our staff. And tomorrow will be our opportunity to gain feedback from students. And so for those who are not familiar with appreciative inquiry, really it's a dreaming exercise of dreaming out loud around what we want to accomplish as an organization. And we ask some pretty thought-provoking questions, such as what do we want the union, or what do we want to be proud of from the union in the next 30 years? Or how can students from different backgrounds feel connected and feel like the union is a part of their experience? So those are the types of conversations that we will be having tomorrow. So if you can join us, we'll be in the Cottonwood Room, 3 p.m. Friday. So I wanted to make sure that I let you all know. Also, one last thing, the Weber Show is taking place, I believe, as we speak, in Union Station by JP's. That was very strategic by the athletics department, because they wanted to make sure that they made the show available to students. And what better place on campus to be than in the student union? So that's an area we want to see more participation by students. So I understand you all are probably not available to attend the Weber Show, at least not from 7 to 8. But if you have folks that you know are not in this room, please encourage them to come out. And there's different specials, opportunity to win prizes, so please take advantage of that. So with that said, I am going to turn it over to our student leaders of our Union Governing Board, which is our governing body, our Union Programming Board, which handles our programming and educational experiences, and then our ambassadors, who will talk a little bit about how we outreach. So thank you all so much.
All right, good evening, everyone. So my name is Vedant Kulkarni, and today I'm here on behalf of UGB as the UGB president. So kind of want to talk to you about, what UGB is. So basically, UGB will be up for elections as well, along with the SGA elections. So in every year, we have total 8 positions that we choose that are elected positions, out of which 6 are for 1-year terms and 2 are for 2-year terms. And so I just want to talk to you about like what UGB is and how you guys can get involved if you're interested. So basically, UGB stands for the Union Governing Board. We advise and create policies that govern the union, you would say. Important part is formulation of general policies of operation of the K-State Student Union. We make recommendations concerning union's maintenance, repairs, and renovations. So kind of like we go over when if a room needs renovation in the union, we go over the policy, what the budget is, and then we based on that we approve or disapprove it. And it's all voting process, so it's pretty parliamentary. We overlook the allocation of space within the union, so kind of like allocating the space to libraries, the IT center, and all other organizations is overlooked by the union governing board. We perform administrative and business functions of the student union. So we look over finances of the K-State Student Union and see if we are making a profit or not, and if the food services that are available at K-State, how they are doing, how their business is doing. Based on that, how much our contract should continue with them. We discuss campus issues, quality issues that affect students in the union. So like if there is an issue of some sort of damages to the union property, we discuss over that. We change and create policies based on that. Periodically review charges and facilities, like I said. So charges for facilities in the union, including the food facilities, we keep on reviewing it so it best has a positive impact on all students. And most importantly, we work with the union programming council on their different events, and we help pass their budgets and stuff like that. And occasionally we get the opportunity to take photos with the people who come here for performances, so kind of like Nick Jonas, T-Pain. So you get to have that fun as well. So that's a good part. That's a fun part of being part of the UGB. Just in general, so if you guys have not filed for your elections yet, you can go and file for HTA elections. Along with that, you can file for union governing board elections. You can choose a 2-year term or 1-year term depending on how much you want to be involved. And you can campaign alongside the HTA filings as well. The minimum requirement for undergrads in union governing board is they should be enrolled in 12 credit hours, and for grad students it's 6 credit hours. Minimum GPA is 2.5, and there are other positions available as well. So if you're part of organizations like the Alumni Association or the Multicultural Student Center and organizations like that, they all have one appointed positions to the union governing board, so you can kind of work on that as well. I pass my mic to ambassadors right now to talk about their organization.
Good evening. I'm Lily Hurt. I am the lead union ambassador here.
And I'm Nathan Sellers, and I am the lead of the Residential Life Community and Union Ambassadors.
So just as a quick overview of our organization, so we typically have 16 members, which is divided into 3 subcategories to help cover all of our bases across campus. So that includes an FSL, which is fraternity and sorority life, the Res Life, and then the K-State Life, which takes care of kind of the K-State student organizations across campus. So as Corey said, we're kind of like a liaison or kind of an outreach portion of the union in a way. One of our big things is at Admitted Wildcat Days and Discover Days, we talk to prospective students, mostly about the union, but also kind of if they're lost or if they need help or kind of just connecting with the right person to get where they need to go.
We also love to help out with other organizations, especially ones in the union. So this past semester, we got the chance to help out UGB with their Haunted Union event, and that was really fun. Sorry, UPC. And also another thing that we do on campus is we host kind of a Cat's Cupboard donation center at the Student Union. And every single week we take that donation over to Fairchild, where Cat's Cupboard is located, and it's just a really good way for us to kind of give back to our community. On top of that, we also have applications opening up. The deadline is this Tuesday, or next Tuesday. One of the requirements is you must be an undergrad student if you want to apply, but all you need to do is go to union.kstate, union.kstate.edu to apply. And yeah, it's a great way to get involved within our student union. Thank you.
You know what they say save the best for last. So I'm up. I'm Michael Varhola. I'm UPC president, Union Program Council. We are the programming board on K-State.
Time for the speaker has expired. Is there a motion to extend? Senator Coleman. It's been moved and seconded to extend the speaker's time by 10 minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, you have 10 more minutes.
Hopefully, I don't need 10 minutes, but sounds good. Where was I? We are student-run, student-led organization. We plan over 160 events a year that reach over 50,000 students on campus that are mostly free or very low cost to students. Some of our big events include the T-Pain concert, Nick Jonas, Haunted Union, drag show, a vast majority of events that hit a very vast majority of students. We do have our applications open. They're due February 17th at 4 p.m. If you would like more information about that, either come down to the UPC office, 054, or go to K-State UPC. And there's also calendars in the back if you would like to know upcoming events this February. That's about it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for any of our speakers? Senator Beasley.
So if you visit Union Kitchen, Union Kitchen has a roundup program where if you purchase any item from that vendor or that entity, you will have an opportunity to round up to the nearest dollar that will then be donated to the Cat's Cupboard organization. So that's the intention behind the Roundup program, similar to what you see maybe at Panda with a similar Roundup program, which is goes to a different organization, but the funds from Union Kitchen does go to Cat's Cupboard.
Further questions? Granted.
That's an excellent question. All right. So as many of you are probably aware, we do have the construction taking place on the east side of the Union for the new Multicultural Student Center. And so as a part of the construction, there was a need to take offline a couple of our emergency exits. And so then that it required, due to code, to change the direction of some of our doors or the exit location of some of our doors. So they had to do kind of a temporary structure for the doorway there. Hopefully we'll get that finished out sooner rather than later. But yeah, that is a temporary structure to help accommodate the construction happening on the east side of the building.
Any other questions? I actually have one. This last fall, do you guys have like the traffic pattern numbers, like the door numbers? And if so, how does that compare to when Hale Library was fully closed?
That's a great question, too. Since the Hale Library has opened up, we have seen a slight decrease in Union traffic. We still are tracking above, I believe, the 2017, 2018 numbers, but we are below the last academic year numbers as well. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but it's a moderate, maybe 1.5%, 2% decrease from last year to this year.
Thank you. Any other questions? Caucus Leader Kidd.
Yeah, and my question actually kind of bounced off of your question, Speaker. So with analyzing the door traffic patterns, do we compare our traffic patterns to like other unions at other universities to see if there's like a correlation or anything like that?
We don't at this time have a comparison mechanism in place. I will say, though, that does open up the door to talk a little bit about a survey that will be going out, I believe, February 5th. So February 5th will be a survey which essentially reviews the services within the union, whether you're talking about food service, the campus store, general cleanliness, leadership opportunities. And so we take a random selection of around 3,500 students to send the survey out to. And what we do is we get feedback through that survey, but it allows us to benchmark against all the other unions within the country. And you also get an opportunity to select 6 institutions that we would consider peer institutions, and we can look at those types of figures as well as overall satisfaction. We call it the Sky Factor benchmarking survey. So we will have an opportunity this spring semester to review how we are comparing, if you will, to other institutions around the country.
Any further questions? Senator King.
Yes, yes, yes.
Further questions?
Can I
Oh.
briefly speak on? This is kind of a small side note, but I believe UPC provided donuts today. Is that okay? I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah. So thank you to UPC. All right.
All right. If there's no further questions, thank you all so much for coming and for the donuts.
There you go. Appreciate it.
Right, and with that, our second open period speaker is Dr. Deborah Bolton, Director of Intercultural Learning and Academic Success.
Okay, I was here sometime in the fall, and we talked about intercultural learning, and we talked a little bit about the importance of intercultural learning. So before we get started with your review, a lot of you took the intercultural development instrument. Some of
Are there any questions for the speaker? Chair Booz.
Okay. Okay, this is what I'm suggesting. I don't have a lot of qualified administrators, so if any of you do want to unpack your individual development plan and how you came out individually, then you can make an appointment with me. And if I can find another qualified administrator, I'll do that. Otherwise, it's me. But I am certainly open. It might take the whole semester of all of you do it, but I don't care. It's fine. So that would be the next thing that you do. I would download your individual plan because it doesn't exactly look like the group plan. So if you want to, you all know how to connect with me. I'm glad to do that. And then it has that plan. Now, if you want the plan for the group, I can send that. I just didn't know if we'd have time to. Okay, I'll just send that. Why don't I send it around and you just send it out to everybody? So as a group, how you came out in the developmental orientation, you can work on it that way. But if you want to do one-on-one, that'll look different. Okay? Just let me know.
Further questions? Chief of Staff Polson.
Is there a place for us to find our individual
No, you can't get it. The way this one is set up, you can't get it until you do a one-on-one.
Okay.
Now, there's a cultural intelligence called CQ. They send it right to you, but that's a different assessment plan. And K-State is mostly doing this one, and right now we're kind of toying with the idea of doing that other one. But you can get that assessment if you want to take it, and I do have grant funding, and it'll go right to you. So if you want, anybody wants to do the CQ, just let me know. We'll pay for that too.
Further questions? Chair Orzechowski.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I'll just send that. Just make the
Yeah, I'll make sure to follow up with Dr. Bolton after the meeting and get that.
That'd be great.
Further questions?
Great. Thank you.
All right, seeing none. Thank you so much for coming. Right, we'll now move into approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Coger. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Moving into announcements for the week. First up, Nate will talk about this more, but SGA week is next week. That'll include the presidential debate, bowling with your senators, tabling, the SGA intern program, and the general election filing deadline. Second, the K-State Career Center and JCPenney are partnering to bring K-State students a chance to participate in select professional attire for an additional 30% off. This event will be 6:30 to 9:30 Sunday, February 9th in the JCPenney store here. They added the first 20 students in line with a valid K-State student ID will receive a $25 JCPenney gift card. Third, proxies for the week: Carlson for Ward, Glasscock for Cruz, Hines for Dowd, Kidd for Burke, Koger for Meinhardt, Whitmer for Oxner. And SGA member of the week is Cameron Koger for serving all students, bringing his passion into Student Senate and his dual committee service. The quote of the week is, "These things, the air, the water, the scenery, and we who fill these scenes, hold many and many a man to Kansas when money would tempt him away. Here are the still waters, here are the green pastures, here are the fairest of the world's habitations." William Allen White. Moving into commendations, is there a motion to consider Resolution 57? Senator Beasley. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 57. Will the author please come forward?
All right, so I think this has to be changed to a resolution. Yeah. Listed as a bill right now. But Resolution 19-2057, Commendation to Exercises Medicine on Campus at Kansas State University by Bryn Carlson and Shaylin Ward. Whereas Exercises Medicine on Campus is a global health initiative that was started by the American College of Sports Medicine, whereas the American College of Sports Medicine has designated October as Exercise is Medicine on Campus month, whereas Exercise is Medicine on Campus calls on universities and colleges to engage in promotion of physical activity as a vital sign of health and encourages faculty, staff, and students to work together towards improving the health and well-being of the campus community. Whereas this year, it is the third year that the Department of Kinesiology and the Kinesiology Student Association have brought Exercise is Medicine on campus to Kansas State. Whereas President Myers signed a proclamation declaring October as Exercise is Medicine on Campus Month at Kansas State University. Whereas on Wednesday, October 16th, Exercise is Medicine on campus hosted free health and fitness assessments on Bosco Plaza Terrace. Whereas on Thursday, October 18th in Forum Hall, Exercise is Medicine on campus and the Kinesiology Department hosted their distinguished lecture by Pantaleimian Patty Akakis, an associate professor of kinesiology at Iowa State University. Whereas the month culminated with Exercise is Medicine on campus walk-in raffle starting at Justin Hall and ending at Ahern Fieldhouse on Thursday, October 31st. Be it enacted that Section 1, Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends the Exercise is Medicine on campus team on the successful execution of this year's Exercise is Medicine on Campus Month. Section 2, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to Exercise is Medicine on campus student leaders Kelly Stahlbaumer, Mary Morrissey, and Brooke Bennett. Exercise is Medicine on campus faculty advisor Lauren McDaniel, Kinesiology Department Head Dr. Craig Harms, Dean of the College of Human Health and Sciences John Buckwalter, and University President Richard B. Myers.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author?
Yes.
What does it feel like to say the phrase exercise is medicine on campus that many times?
Oh my gosh. I hope I never have to say it again. Maybe next year.
Any further questions or corrections? Senator Beasley. Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll close that extra space too on 34.
Okay, perfect.
Further questions or corrections? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 57? Senator Beasley. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 57 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this resolution is approved. Right, with that, is there a motion to consider Resolution 58? Elections, Commissioner Spellman? It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 58. Will the author please come forward? Yeah, sorry, there's an error on the agenda with the lettering. We had just Coach Chris Kleiman at first, which is why it's first on the agenda, but it's corrected on the actual copies.
Good evening, Senate. Resolution 19-2058, Commendation to Kansas by Nick Beasley. Whereas in 1854, the Kansas-Nebraska Act officially opened the titular territories to settlement, whereas the act effectively repealed the Missouri Compromise, which contained the proviso that all territory above the 3630 parallel would enter the Union as a free state, whereas the Kansas-Nebraska Act instead left it to popular sovereignty to determine whether these territories would become free or slave states, beginning the tragic prelude of the Civil War. Whereas what followed was described by abolitionist poet J.G. Whittier as the Kansas Immigrant Song, as an effort to rear a wall of men on freedom's southern line and create the homestead of the free. Whereas on January 29th, 1861, Kansas was admitted to the Union as a free state. And whereas with its beginning in a Paola schoolhouse, Kansas Day has been an annual expression of state history and pride since 1877, be it resolved that Section 1, the Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends the state of Kansas for reaching its 158th anniversary. Section 2, to celebrate the occasion, the Kansas State University Student Senate will forego the tradition of singing the state song, Home on the Range, and will instead celebrate by singing Happy Birthday to be more accessible to non-Kansan members of the body. And Section 3, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to University President Richard B. Myers and Governor Laura Kelly.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Sorry, Caucus Leader Spellman.
Could you rephrase the question? Is that Jermaine? Nah, I'm kidding. All right. So I understand that not everyone in this body or even in this room is from Kansas, and so maybe does not hold the lyrics and tune of Home on the Range as closely in their hearts as myself being a Topekan, or grew up singing the song every Kansas Day in celebration of today, or yesterday, I should say. Whereas everyone knows Happy Birthday. Come on. Also, it's quicker to sing, and we'll get on to more things.
Further questions? Senator Heisey. Sorry, Director.
We're legally protected. No, I'm kidding.
Further questions? Senator Hines. That's debate-like. Senator Carr.
The words, I can answer. The words are one thing, but the tune is another. Can you?
No follow-ups. Senator Koger.
Ooh.
If you'd like to make a formal amendment, please raise your hand to do so again. Chief of Staff Polson.
Ooh. Okay. So a friendly amendment. Is that a friendly amendment, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Further questions? Caucus Leader Glasscog. You don't have to answer. Further questions? Senator Hines. The same way.
Yeah, you just have to have a paper copy of it.
Oh, that sucks.
Further questions? Senator King.
Am I going to have to filibuster until he has the paper ready? Okay. Someone get me.
With the vote of the body, is that all those in favor of being okay accepting the amendment without a paper copy, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. All right, please make the amendment. Say it. A little impressed you consolidated that fast. Okay. The amendment on the floor is to replace forego with continue and to replace instead with additionally. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded to make Senator Hines' amendment. Is there any debate? Or would you like first right to debate? There's no debate now. Okay. Any in the negative? Any at all? All right. All those in favor of the amendment, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. All right. The amendment passes. Are there any further questions or corrections for the author at the podium? All right, seeing none, is there a motion on Resolution 58? Chair Booz. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 58 unanimously. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, Resolution 58 is approved.
All right, everybody. I didn't get YouTube ready for this. What?
Happy birthday now, Home on the Range, second open period.
Second open period? Okay, but that's, you know what? I'm amazed that I got this far. So, when we get to the happy birthday to Kansas, you know. All right. I'm trying to find them. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kansas. Happy birthday to you. Go Cats.
All right, with that, is there a motion to consider Resolution 59? And just to clarify, that's Chris Clam. Chair Booz. It's been moved and seconded to postpone Resolution 59 to next week. You have first right to debate.
All right. Resolution 59 was written by Noah Oxner and Cameron Kroger, and Noah really wanted to be here to read it tonight. However, he is not able to be here to read it tonight and would like it to be postponed, I believe. So please vote for the postponement. Thanks.
Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, any further debate? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of postponing definitely to next week, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Right, motion carries. Resolution 59 will be back on the agenda next week. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 60? Senator Beasley. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 60. Will the author please come forward?
All right, resolution, yeah, that should say resolution. Resolution 19-2060, commendation to Larry Mader by Andrew Booz, Nate Bothwell, Max Harmon, Hannah Heatherman, Sarah Pelton, Blake Phillips, Marta Richenberg, and Blaine Snyder. Whereas Larry Mader first began his work with Kansas State University in 1973, working in the Office of Financial Assistance as a student employee. Whereas after graduating from K-State in 1977, Larry Mader was hired as the coordinator for Veterans Affairs. Whereas Larry Mader earned a master's degree from Kansas State in 1980 and served the university in many ways, including serving as the Assistant Director of Financial Assistance, Director of Student Financial Assistance, Director of Undergraduate Admissions, Executive Director of Student Financial Assistance and Undergraduate Admissions, Assistant Vice President, Associate Vice President for Student Life, and Special Assistant to the Provost. Whereas Larry Mader has earned numerous awards such as the 2005 Hall of Fame Award for the Kansas Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, a Leadership Award from the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, and Kansas State's Commerce Bank and W.T. Kemper Foundation's Presidential Facility and Staff Award for distinguished service to historically underrepresented students for his dedicated work to student financial assistance. Whereas Larry Mader has been an integral member of many SGA committees, including but not limited to Tuition and Fees Strategies Committee, the Joint Committee on Officers' Compensation, and the Educational Opportunity Fund. Whereas Larry Mader has been an invaluable resource to Kansas State University students and KSU SGA, and whereas Larry Mader retired in December of 2019. Be it enacted that Section 1, Kansas State University Student Governing Association commends Larry Mader for a dedicated and incredible career at Kansas State University and wishes Larry well in retirement. And Section 2, upon passage of the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to Vice President of Student Life, Dr. Thomas Lane, Chief Financial Officer Ethan Erickson, Director of New Student Services, Dr. Emily Laning, Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Charles Tabor, and former Special Assistant to the Provost, Larry Mader, and University President, Richard B. Myers.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Caucus Leader Kidd.
That is friendly.
Further questions? Chief of Staff Polson.
I apologize.
Chair Booth. Okay. Thank you. Senator Beasley. Further correction. Caucus Leader Glasscock.
That's proper.
Further questions. Caucus Leader Kidd.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. Sorry, I wasn't around when Bosco was here.
Further questions. Senator Snyder. Yep. Senator Frederick.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions or corrections? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 60? Chair Booth. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 60 unanimously. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, Resolution 60 is approved. Moving into approval of appointments, is there a motion to consider Resolution 61? Senator Beasley. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 61. Will the author please come forward?
Resolution 1920-61 by Senate Operations Standing Committee, Sadie Polson, Jansen Penny, Ali Karamali, and Nathan Bothwell. Whereas the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Constitution and bylaws specify the KSU SGA executive branch include a legislative director and technology director. Whereas applications and interviews were made available to all students who showed interest in the KSU SGA this past spring. Whereas the positions of legislative director and technology director became vacant. Whereas it was imperative to fill these positions immediately due to time constraints and demanding responsibilities in the beginning of spring semester. And whereas these individuals were chosen on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout the remainder of the term. Be it resolved that, Section 1, the following individuals be approved for their respective offices for the 2019-2020 term: Legislative Director Madison Brown and Technology Director Kristen Shao.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 61? Senator Beasley. Yeah. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 61 unanimously. Are there any objections? Right, seeing none, Resolution 61. If Kristen and Madison will come up to the front, we'll get you sworn in.
All right, right hand up, please. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of cabinet member and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Okay, name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
Okay. Hello, my name is Madison Brown. I am from Shawnee, Kansas, and I'm a junior majoring in finance. And my favorite smell is fresh bread whenever you walk into Good Sense.
Hi, I'm Kristen Shao. I'm also from Shawnee, Kansas. I'm majoring in political science and sociology, and my favorite smell is Home Depot.
there a motion to consider Resolution 62? Senator Coleman. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 62. Will the author please come forward?
All right, Resolution 19-2062, approval of new student senator by Senate Operations Committee. Whereas Olivia Pruse has chosen to resign from the position of student senator for the College of Arts and Sciences, and whereas William Moore has the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2019 SGA general election for the College of Arts and Sciences student senator, be it resolved that the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Arts and Sciences, William Moore.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 62? Intern Phillips. It's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 62 unanimously. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 62 is approved. Right, if you will raise your right hand and say I will at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, execute the office of student senator and will to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
Hi, I'm William Moore. I'm from Northwest Arkansas. I'm an economics major, minor in German and statistics, and my favorite smell is fermenting yeast.
Okay, we'll now move into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report? Chair Orzechowski.
I've got some dates here for DPC events for the semester. So I was going to go ahead and just go through all the dates for DPC events for the semester. So this is Diversity Programming Committee. Sorry. Okay, cool. So we have ASU's 56th anniversary at K-State, and that is going to be in Forum Hall on the 1st of February. Saga is doing the K-State Drag Show in McCain on the 14th of February, and I've been told that that one is a very popular event, so you should try to come early, otherwise tickets will be gone. And then the Bangladeshi Student Org is doing Bangladeshi Night in Forum Hall on the 16th of February. And then the US Poet Laureate, Joy Haro, is coming to the Alumni Center on March 24th. And then I will also send these out in an email.
Are there any questions for the chair? Right, seeing none, are there any other committee chairs that would like to give a report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into directors' reports. Are there any directors? Elections Commissioner Spellman.
All right. Hi, everyone. Happy election season. Typically, you'll see me up here for your traditional elections, but seeing that I am the SGA Elections Commissioner, I wanted to provide you all with some updates for SGA elections. Starting with the Student Tribunal decision, on the first day that we got back, Student Tribunal held a meeting, and they concluded that with the interpretation of the statutes, the deadline for the primary election was extended. Originally, it was on January 24th. Anyone that's interested in filing for the primary election has until January 31st. So you have about a day. Second update, I wanted to provide you a little bit information on the deadlines that are coming up. So starting on Tuesday, February 4th, candidates for the primary election are able to publicize via chalk, posters, and banners. That starts at 8 a.m., or I believe 5 p.m., sorry. Thursday, February 6th, beginning at 8 a.m., candidates will start tabling, so you'll see a little bit more of action going on in the K-State Student Union. And then finally, the big deadline is Friday, February 7th. All at 4 p.m., that's going to be when the expense reports and campaign action reports are due. However, if you are interested in filing for the general election, that's also going to be the same deadline. So anyone that's interested in running for Senate, for Union Governing Board, for student publications, you have until Friday, February 7th at 4 p.m. That link is available on the SGA website, or you can go to Cases and search for it. But make sure if you are interested in running that you file before that deadline passes. Last thing I wanted to end on was kind of the goals I had going into election season. One of them is revamping how we view and utilize the Elections Committee. Some of the people in this body are also serving on the Elections Committee. So myself, Senator Kuhlman, and I'm not sure where she's sitting, Senator Gillespie, those are 2 out of the 5 members on the Elections Committee that are a member of the Senate body. So if you have any questions, of course, you can feel free to contact me. However, they are also a resource to utilize as well. So definitely feel free to ask them any questions that you have additionally. The other thing that I wanted to emphasize was the changes from last year's statutes and bylaws to this year. You have seen Chair Booz come up here week after week making changes to the elections regulations code. There are some pretty substantial changes. So if you do have any questions, same thing that I just mentioned, make sure that you reach out. We do want to provide you all with the most up-to-date information, but of course, if you do have anything, whether small or big question, feel free to catch me after Senate. You can shoot me an email. If you have my phone number, you can always text or call me, I guess. Last thing I wanted to do was focus on a conversation that we had in Senate Exec on Tuesday night. So for the members of Senate Exec, this will sound very familiar, but for everyone else that wasn't present in that room, we had a serious conversation on how to change the way that we and the way that the student body view SGA elections. A big focus of that conversation was looking at brand and how the students view us in SGA, whether elections or outside of elections. But this is a big time of year where you'll see a lot of publication for SGA. Kind of going off of what had happened in years past where things have become a little bit more negative, I really want to focus the conversation and make it more of a positive light. But me being one person, I certainly can't do that alone. So that is where I'm asking all of you to kind of take a step up to really promote the election, tell all of your friends to vote, whether for someone or not. I really just think that even reaching out to 10 people will increase the turnout significantly from years past. For example, looking at turnout numbers, in 2017, roughly 4,100 students voted. In 2018, 3,500 students voted, and last year's election, only 2,300 students voted. This year, I've set a goal for 5,000 students to vote in this year's election. It's very ambitious, I understand that. However, that's where I am asking all of you to make sure that you are being actively engaging and talking about SGA as positively as we can. That is all that I have. I am open to any questions.
Any questions for Elections Commissioner Spillman? All right, seeing none, further director's reports. Communications Director Willis.
Hi. This is really quick, but if you guys all, I'm assuming a lot of people have Instagram. If you could all do me a real quick favor here. We have a thing, kind of a pet project that I'm trying to get us an Instagram page. And after several weeks of trying to convince Instagram to change a username for us, they told us that the best way to do it is or told me here on Monday, that the best way to do it is to have a bunch of people report the old account. So if you can, pull out your phones, search K-State SGA. It'll literally have like 9 followers. I don't know whose other project it was, but it's been abandoned. We have no account for it. And you would click in the top right corner, click report, and that's it. Spam. Yeah, I either want to do spam, or you can select it to be as a report for for like inappropriate posts and like anything, or that's a celebrity. But as long as it gets flagged, that's the way to go. And also to continue on with Spellman's last talk up here, one of the things we're going to try to do is really kind of hit on this communications level of trying to broadcast everything about elections. So, I mean, a lot of us are in Greek life. We all have to promote certain events for our organizations. And one of the things we're going to try to do is really promote our elections through our Instagram pages, through our Twitter pages. So, I mean, if you're not following this new Instagram page, if you're not going to start following the Twitter, go ahead and get on it. Get some retweets, share it to your stories, Snapchats. You know, we really want to see some engagement. We've kind of gone downhill in voter turnout, and that's what we kind of want to change. So if you can do both those things, we really appreciate it, and go Cats. Any questions?
Intern Coordinator Colburn.
Well, since there's only 9, I would say no, just because it's not following anybody, and it's got no profile picture, no posts. But they said that was the best way to go for it. And I mean, it's not necessarily a big deal, but if we can get that kind of username, it would just kind of look more feng shui, everything having the same look. So, but and also an update to that, if they said that it should take a couple days, so if it's not gone by Monday. There's another Instagram that I'll probably have somebody send out an email that we can follow. That's the one that I created. So it's not really that different, but I'll start adding things to it in case this one can't be closed. So
Further questions? Right, seeing none, further director's reports. Director Land.
All right, so the census is taking applications to be a census taker. The job for students would primarily be this summer. The website to go on to apply for that is 2020census.gov/jobs. It pays like $15 to $17 an hour. So yeah, go and do that. That's all I have.
Any questions? Right, seeing none, further director's reports. Director Shao.
Hi, so I wanted to share the opportunity to be a part of the Student Technology Task Force that we are starting this semester. It's going to meet about 3 to 5 times a semester with executive IT staff and give feedback about student experience with technology. You don't need to be a technology person to be on this force, just if you have ideas about your own experience with technology or any complaints or suggestions that you've heard, please apply. The application is on the Org Central page, and I'm guessing Nate could put it in the minutes. So you can find it either of those places. If you have any questions, ask me, and please apply. The deadline is Monday, the 3rd at 11:59 p.m.
Any questions? Chair Booth. Yeah, they said just a lot of different ideas. A lot of things they want to do is how it's more accessible to people and seeing like what we've put a lot of energy into that students don't like versus what we could be putting more energy into that students want. So. Further questions? Right, seeing none, any further director's reports? Director Brown.
Hello, everyone. So I have a few things that I'm working on right now. The first one is going to be Big 12 on the Hill. So this is where all of the Big 12 conference schools get together and they go to DC to lobby with their congressmen and senators. And so some of the topics that we're going to be focusing on with that are mental health, student aid simplification, raising Pell Grants. And so that's a really great opportunity for all the Big 12 schools to get together and really try and lobby for funding and things that higher education needs, as well as Legislative Advocates is starting up. So that's really exciting. We have about 10 new members, and we are going to be teaching them all about Kansas politics, as well as advocacy and lobbying, and they will be going to State Higher Education Day with us. And so that's the third thing that I'm working on right now. This is going to be where all the Kansas schools get together and go to Topeka we meet with our representatives and discuss a range of topics that also are affecting higher education. So one of them is going to be funding. We recently asked the governor for $95 million in funding, and we got 12. So that is going to be something that we're going to be going back and hopefully asking for more funding for. Whether we get it or not, we'll see, as well as some other things for Higher Education Day. In Topeka, we're going to be looking at affirmative consent, yes means yes, as well as mental health funding. And if any of you guys are interested, legislative review is something that happens almost every Friday by the Office of Government Relations. So that will be tomorrow from 12 to 1 in the Cottonwood Room. It's going to be a great time to like catch up on Kansas politics if you're interested, and I will be there, so don't worry, you won't be the only student. As well, if you're interested in higher ed policy at all, let me know. We'll be doing lots of research to really make sure that we're looking at the best policies and bills to push forward for this lobbying. So yeah, I stand for questions.
Any questions for Director Brown? I've said Senator Brown so many times. It's really hard. All right, I do have one. Did you finish all of the contacts, or do you still need help?
No, so if you guys are interested in helping me out, it would be a huge help. Right now, I am scheduling legislative meetings with everyone on the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, as well as the Higher Education Committee. So if you want to just do a quick 30-second phone call to an office and ask for an email, that's literally it. You have to say, can I have your scheduler's email, please? That would be a huge help. I can send you an email with really step-by-step directions if you want to raise your hand if you'd be interested in helping out with that. Okay, Nathan, Natalia, Sarah. Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions? Cool.
All right, further director's reports. Intern Coordinator Colburn.
Hi, everyone. So today was the start of the third class of interns. So I had a good turnout, but it can always be more. So if you know anyone who at all might be interested, you can connect them with me. You can talk to them individually. Just get more people to come to the intern program. If you've heard anyone who is at all interested in running for Senate, next week we're talking about elections. So put it out there, just like if you know anyone. I know some of you are probably involved in things relating to SGA that I won't specifically say or like mention in this room, if that makes sense, if you're picking up. And if anyone involved in those projects that you're working on that is not currently in SGA, but has obviously shown an interest in SGA by being involved in these projects, and you think would make a great candidate for SGA by being involved in these outside projects, then send them to the intern program. They can learn a little bit more if they haven't already learned from you about what SGA is, what elections are, and what like happens in SGA outside of the single project that they're working on. So if that rings a bell with anyone, and if there are any names you want to send me, I have a form email I can send to you that you can send to them. Yeah, that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions for Coordinator Colburn? All right,
Thanks.
seeing none, further director's reports. Pro Tem Bothwell.
Good evening, everyone. I have a bit of a longer report tonight. Sorry about that, but you all can help me make it go faster in just a little bit. To start off with, all of the name tag orders from right after Thanksgiving came in. I have just a couple left to give out. If you haven't gotten yours yet, please come see me after Senate and I'd be happy to give it to you. Second, I want to talk about SGA week next week. Yay, who's excited? Next Monday, we have a different like signature event each day of the week. So I'm going to go over those in just a little bit more detail right now, just so you know what they are. And I could really use some help with some of them. So to start out with, next Monday's event is the student body presidential candidate debate. So the student body presidential candidates will be like having like a debate that'll be moderated by the Collegian in KSDB. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be like a really great opportunity if you like don't know anything about the candidates and want to learn more. This will be your chance to come watch them. That'll be Monday at in the Student Union Courtyard from 11:30 to 12:20. So come on out and support your fellow SGA members. Tuesday's event is a little more internal focused. It'll be Bowling with Senators. So Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I've rented out some lanes in the bowling alley. Bowling's free, just come on, hang out. There's no other SGA committees or obligations going on at that time. Invite people you know who aren't in SGA. If they want to come just hang out with us, it should be a really fun time. Like I said earlier today, I think Cox Leader Spellman and Cox Leader Glasscock had like a bowl-off last year or something where they got really into it. So this will be a really fun time. So I really encourage everyone to come attend this event. Wednesday's event is going to be pretty cool. It's called like Why SGA Day. We're going to have a table in the Union from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's going to have like a big sign that says Why SGA, and we're going to ask students what we can do for them and what initiatives they'd like us to take in the coming years, and put sticky notes all over this poster. With that though, this is also going to be our big social media push day. So next Wednesday, I encourage everyone, whatever your social media of choice is, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever, post something with the hashtag WhySGA. Why are you in SGA? What do you like about SGA? It'll be a great way to reach out and connect with the rest of campus. But on this component right now, I'm gonna do something that is going to like pause my director's report. I sent out a reminder at about 5:30 p.m. tonight, reminding people to, I sent out like the sign up link for tabling. Wednesday is actually my busy day of the week, so I can't be at the table for the entire time. So I need people to fill out that link. So I'm gonna get it projected up on the screen, and I will not yield my time until the entire spreadsheet is filled out with people at table. We've got like close to 100 people in the room. Like there's people who can work a half-hour shift at a table in the Union in the middle of the day. So I sent everyone a link at about 5:30 p.m. If you wanna work a shift, go look at that, fill it out. That would make like my life great, and it'd be a great way to just like give back to SGA. So I'm gonna get this pulled up in just a sec.
Okay, this is unconventional, but while they are getting that figured out, I have a very brief director's report, and I'm going to give it sitting right here. So all I need is 6 student senators to serve on student-centered tuition enhancements. It's a really fun time. Sadie will be there. Sai will be there. He said it's fun. It'll be based on the availability of the committee members. Is anybody else interested?
Someone needs to take that last shift up there.
One more. Thank you, guys.
Yes, this is next Wednesday. Someone, 11:30. Who's free from, what? It's from, so yeah, I want at least 2 people working the table at all times. What? It's gonna be at table 5 also. So it's gonna be like right next to Cat's Den is where we'll be. To whoever wrote that on the spreadsheet. I swear I will not move until like this is filled out, so like. Which one did you say? Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, we need one more from 1:30 to 2.
Time.
Yes.
Time for the speaker has expired. Senator Rodriguez.
Thank
It's
you.
been moved
Natalia.
and seconded to extend time for the speaker by 5 minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none.
Thank you all for filling that out. I really appreciate it. Yes, Olivia. Awesome. Okay. And like I said, we will, that'll be like our big social media push day. So like come work a table. We'll also probably be having some other possible events during that day, which we'll talk about in caucus time in just a sec. I have just a couple other announcements. The special committee on DPC had their like last in-person meeting yesterday. We're gonna like approve something digitally, but next week I'll actually be presenting that report that that committee came up with. So be on the lookout for that to see what changes will be coming down the line to the Diversity Programming Committee. With that, DPC applications close tomorrow for events happening in the final quarter, so like after spring break to the end of the school year. So if you're in any student organizations or know anyone who wants to host like an event that'll promote diversity on campus, please apply for funding. I know our committee would love to see it and review it.
Nate, I'm sorry. There are at least 8 people I can see talking to their neighbor right now. So please give your respect to the leadership you elected and limit those as much as possible. Thank you.
I have 2 things left. So as like not only are elections coming up, but once elections are done and we get the new people in, it'll be time to pick like a new speaker and a new speaker pro tempore, as well as new committee chairs. If you are interested in any of those positions, I'd really encourage you to start reaching out right now and meeting with those people. At least for me, last year at this time, I met with the previous speaker pro tempore to discuss like job duties. That's where I got a lot of my platforms and ideas. So I'd strongly encourage you. I would be happy to meet with anyone who's interested in the position of speaker pro tempore, and I can pretty much say that'd be the same across the board for all of like legislative leadership. I know everyone would be happy to meet with you. And then lastly, just to echo one thing that Elections Commissioner Spellman said earlier about elections and kind of like changing that culture. One of the things that came up in our meeting on Tuesday was someone's senior speech from last year. And in their senior speech, Shelby Carpenter said the phrase, show yourself some grace. And I think that's a really good like mindset to keep going into election season. Like show yourself some grace. You're gonna be busy, you're gonna be exhausted, but like it's okay, make some you time for yourself. But I would also extend that phrase to show some others some grace as well. You'll all notice that I sent out that email at like 5:30 tonight, reminding people that like, you know, you can't have like campaign stickers or campaign t-shirts in Wildcat Chambers or CSI. And at least speaking for myself, I will never file a violation on anyone for doing that if they're willing to quickly cover it up with a gentle reminder. And I'd really hope that that's the attitude of everyone here, that, you know, we give everyone a gentle reminder if they're not aware of the rules they're breaking and things like that. I think that'd just be a really positive attitude to move forward with for this election season. So with that, I'll stand for any questions about anything that I have said.
Questions? Elections, Commissioner Spellman?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are at 4 applications now. So there's some questionable ones in there that I don't think we can fund, but we have 4 applicants.
Further questions? Right, seeing none, further director's reports. Right, President Penny.
Doing a bond surplus to CATS cover.
Time. Time for the speaker has expired. Senator King. It's been moved and seconded to extend time for the speaker by 10 minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, 10 more minutes.
And something else that they're wanting to do is cooking classes. And so I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't the best chef coming to college, especially after moving out of the parents' house. And so it's really important to make sure that students know how to cook balanced, nutritious meals. And so they also have different things at the cupboard like cooking supplies. And so if you move here and you don't have everything you need to cook, you can also get that from the cupboard as well. And then something else that they're really wanting to push is increasing the awareness of SNAP program. And so Aaron Bishop shared with me today a statistic that only 1 out of 5 students in Kansas that are eligible for SNAP actually receive the benefits. And so they're really wanting to make sure that students are aware of the SNAP program and have the support they need to fill out the forms. Sarah Hoyt, who works in TAP's cupboard, talked to me about sitting down with students and making sure that they have a consult first and then they actually fill out the form together to make sure that it's filled out correctly. Because government forms are kind of a hassle. We all fill out the FAFSA. We know that that's kind of a pain. And so I'm assuming that the SNAP program would be kind of the same way. But really wanting to make sure that students have access to all of the opportunities that they need to succeed.
Yeah, so as Sarah just touched on all those great initiatives, we want to make sure that as month after month, more and more students are becoming aware of Catch Cover and they're able to access those resources that they need. We want to make sure that they have the funding to support that. So the way that we wrote up this proposal after receiving all of your feedback, comments, questions, and concerns was we wanted to structure it similar to a privilege fee entity, but we didn't want to throw it on the privilege fee because one, the bond surplus funds are already paid out by students, so it's not costing any current students any more money opposed to a privilege fee where it would. So what we want to do is give Catch Covered $80,000 over 6 years, but that would be broken down into 3 separate years, or 3 years and then 3 additional years. So the way it works is it receive $80,000 for 3 years, and at the end of after the end of the 3rd year, somebody in Student Senate at that time, some student leader would have to take up the initiative, still see it as an important cause that they want to support, and write a resolution of some sort to extend it for 3 more years. So the $80,000 per year breaks down that we want to give them $30,000 a year for those improving or those projects across campus that are very visible and apparent to students immediately. So like those refuel stations, cooking classes, stuff like that that's very tangible and apparent to students and the student dollars that are going towards it. But the bigger part and more important part is the operational budget. So like Sarah touched on, Catch Covered is currently in their final year of SCTE funding. For the last 4 years, that's been their steady source of funding. They don't really have any more continuous funding, so we want to give them $50,000 a year for their operational budget. So the way we came to that number was their current operational budget that they have is about $100,000. What they need right now to support the number and the staff and everything else they need to get is about $120,000, $125,000. And since we don't know that limit of where those students, that cap is going to be, we want to make sure we leave them with enough room so that if SCTE does decrease their funding or if the number just spikes severely, they're able to sustain and support the pantry and keep it open past that. So the way this would work is similar to a privilege fee proposal. At any point, we would allow any student senator to write a resolution to terminate this agreement if they felt that Catch Covered was not upholding their end of this agreement and not creating these new projects or initiatives and really doing their best to make the most of this money to support students. So how we would do that is every year we would have somebody from Catch Covered, probably the director or Sarah Barrett over in Student Life, come give a report of how they're spending their finances. That would not only be the money they're receiving from here, but also any donations they may be getting or any other sources of funding that may come about. And then at any point, any student senator could write that resolution if they felt that Catch Covered no longer deserved this money. So we kind of did that to keep the power in students' hands and make sure that this is student dollars. We want to make sure that any time if you guys feel like it's not used properly, you can take that back.
Yep. And so with that, this is really aimed to increase access, work on some of those brand new projects that both Ollie and Sarah talked about, and then most importantly, keeping the doors open too.
Questions for the speaker? Senator Olivella.
Yeah, I can start on that. Talking about how we have to hold the 1.5 million for the bonds, that's something that is legislated in those like larger bonds that we collect. Um, we are going to invite someone from the finance office to come on either next week or the final week that it's presented. If there's any kind of specific questions about that, but that's not a choice from student leaders or from the central administration. That's something that we have to keep in there just in case for some reason the university, let's say, had to like shut down. We like still have to pay off those bonds, and that creates a buffer there that is written in that agreement. So.
Yeah, so the reason we did 3 years, like I touched on earlier, we wanted to keep it as similar to privilege fee as possible, because that's kind of how we view this sort of funding. In previous years, PowerCat Financial came off SCTE in 2012, and Student Senate at that time passed a resolution to give them $400,000 immediately out of the bond surplus account. We kind of wanted to stray away to that and kind of have more of that accountability factor. So we settled on 3 years after consulting with CFO of K-State, Ethan Erickson, who recommended that to us just because he thought that keeping it in line with how we're viewing other entities who may be on privilege fee, it would seem pretty fair to keep them on a 3-year cycle as well. We did want to cap it at only one additional 3-year cycle because we do believe that after 6 years, CAS coverage should be able to be self-sustaining and self-funding. They kind of just need the support until we can get there. And another thing with that 3-year plan is any of you at any time could write a resolution and move to get it terminated. So just because it is 3 years of continuous funding before someone has to write a resolution to extend it, doesn't mean it has to be 3 years before you can terminate it. If this passes next week and for some reason you're really upset about it and you want to write a resolution and terminate it, you have the power to do that as a student senator and as a student on this campus.
Further questions? Chair Booz.
You mentioned that it currently requires about $100,000 to $125,000 for operations. So how much is the SCTE funding right now compared to the funding from the foundation and other entities?
Yeah, so not an exact number, but I believe it's around 90 to 100,000 is what they're getting. And the way Sarah said it to us in our last meeting with her was they needed about 100 to 100 or 120 to 125,000 to be like good in the green, like not pulling from like their reserves or from like the all-in money, which they really want to save to only spend on food, because that is really all they can spend on food besides donations. So they're short about $20,000 to $25,000 of where they should be right now, just because of that growing increase and then having to hire more staff, as well as Erin's salary. She works very hard for the salary; she does deserve it. Any other operational costs that they have.
Further question? Intern Coordinator Colburn.
So, I don't know where Sarah's, I'm assuming, comes just from this Office of Student Life, but Erin's comes from that operational budget that's mainly supported by SCTE right now that can now get decreased if it wants to because it's in the 4th-year funding.
Further questions? Senator Olivella.
Yeah, it is outlined, like it's all wrapped in your privilege fee. Like this is part of the $470 a semester that goes in the privilege fee. Over 100 of it goes straight to these bonds. And so if you click under K-State Student Union and Rec Services, it should automatically pop down that $50 of that out of yours goes into that bond. It should be there. I can check after this, but if not, that's something that we need to get updated, and that is kind of that clarity that is provided through the privilege fee breakdown that is on the SGA website.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you, guys. further reports? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into college caucus time.
So we're now going to move into college caucus time. Your caucus leaders should know what you're doing. Each caucus is a bit different tonight. Some of you are ratifying constitutional amendments, and then some of you are additionally planning like possible events to have during SGA week next week, as well as just some general catch-up that your caucus leaders requested. So feel free to disperse to your usual locations, and if you don't know what you're doing or where to go, come find me. Oh, this will be for 15 minutes. Sorry, 15-minute time. So, yeah.
speaker or? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would be awesome. Nathan does a great job. He's the one who organizes all the first open period speakers. So if you just shoot him an email, he'll get you right set up. Yeah, no problem.
Student Senate, we are past the time we set, so let's start finding our seats, please.
Okay, Student Senate, we're going to go ahead and get started. The author for Bill 70 is here. Have there been any changes or corrections made?
We'll wait. No.
With that, you have first right to debate on Bill 70.
Okay, so Bill 70 is amendments to the KSU SGA Constitution concerning K-State Polytechnic representation. What this does is it adds a voting student senator to our Senate body that's a representative from our campus in Salina. Over this past term so far, we've had a really strong partnership with the Polytechnic SGA, everything from them calling us to ask for advice on things to them attending some of our meetings and events. In doing this, also I'd like to add that the K-State Polytechnic students are allowed to vote in our student body president election as well. So giving them one voting seat here falls in line with the rest of the representation that we give our student senators. It does leave the process for appointing the member of our body up to the discretion of the Polytechnic SGA. And lastly, I would like to note that the full attendance policy won't apply to this person. However, they are allowed to designate a proxy. With that, I stand for questions.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Intern Coordinator Colburn.
Yeah, I currently don't know about applying one voting seat to the Olathe campus. I know that partnership with Polytechnic is a little closer because of the demographics of students, proximity, etc. But I think that if we were to go about that, the best way to start that process would be to look at, if we want that same policy of allowing those students to vote in our campus-wide elections to apply, and then could easily go back in and add that seat at that point in time. If that's something that people are interested in pursuing, I'd be happy to meet with them.
Are there any further questions for the speaker? Seeing none, is there any debate in the negative on this bill? Is there any more debate in the positive on this bill? Is there any more debate at all on this bill? Okay, if not, we will move into a roll call vote on this. Just a reminder, because this is a constitutional amendment, it requires 3/4 of the student senate to pass it, not just 2/3. So if you have a proxy, make sure to like vote as your proxy, just so we have enough votes if it were to pass. So I'll move over and do that now. Al Abdullah, Al Madani, Beasley, Belina, Betancourt, Bond, Booz, Bowers, Brentsey, Burke, Carlson, Carr, Clark, Clements, Coggeshall, Colasico, Cruz, Dowd. Someone's Dowd's proxy, right? Okay, well, Frederick, Gallardo, Gillespie, Glasscock, Hamlin. Okay, Hines. I think the college bag is not in the room right now, is what we're realizing. So they never came back from their caucus time. So I think.
Where the College of Ag meets.
Okay. So we'll skip Huffman, Jabin, Jonak, Kelly, Kerperin, not here, Kidd, King, Koger, Kurzweil, Coleman, Lomshek, Lux, Matos, Meinhardt, Moore, Oxner, not here, Orzakowski, Pelton, Payton, Phillips, Rivera, Rodriguez, Reichert, Seidel, Slichter, Smith, Snyder-Ben, Snyder-Blaine, Spellman, Wallace, Ward Kelly, Ward Shalin, Watkins, Whitmer, and Zimmerman. Okay, and then, sorry, Tell, you're Noah's proxy, right? Okay, I thought I skipped that. So with that, the vote total stands at 40 to 0. So it doesn't pass unless we wait for the College of Ag to get back in the room. They're in the bowling alley, I think. That's what where Alan told me. They also don't have a caucus leader tonight, so that might be why. I think Lily went to go get them. Or Nick did? Okay. I hate to leave us here, but if we move on the agenda, unless there's... Yes.
Intern Phillip.
I move to table Bill 70 until after Bill 70 for Resolution 56.
We already had a. With our vote total?
Way to go, Intern Phillips. He correctly used the motion to table, which is like never actually used. You notice we postponed definitely earlier this meeting, which just automatically puts it to a specified time. Table is the correct motion to use when we have a really weird thing come up just like this. So it tables to be dealt with at a later time this meeting. Therefore, we will need a motion to bring it back off of the table when such a time arises.
Intern Phillips. Withdraw your motion.
Withdraw your motion. I move to withdraw my motion. No second.
Sorry, hold on. Oh, I said 15 minutes earlier, but sorry, Ag. We'll go back. Is there anyone I missed in roll call? Just like raise your hand so I don't have to go through. Senator Hines, how do you vote? Yes. And then are you anyone's proxy?
Yes,
Okay, perfect. Kerperin? Okay. Smith? And Huffman? Anyone else who was missed? No, I got him. Okay, with that, it's 45 to 0, so it does pass at that point. So, thank you all. Sorry, that just took a second.
All right, next, will the author of Resolution 56 please come forward?
Hello, Student Senate.
Have any changes been made?
No, they have not.
You have first right to debate.
More than anything, I like this resolution because it's something that you wouldn't expect Senate to do. I feel that exercising our voices as the student body is important, and it's an issue that is relevant to me and I'm sure many K-State basketball fans among us. I stand for questions.
Are there any questions for the author? All right, seeing none, is there any debate in the negative? Further debate in the positive? Any debate at all? All right, we'll now move to a vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 56, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 56 is approved. Right, we'll now move into introduction of minor allocations. We have Bill 71, travel allocation to the K-State Association for Computing Machinery, request 500, recommendation 300. Into introduction of legislation, is there a motion to consider Bill 72? Senator Phillips. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 72. Will the author please come forward?
Good evening, Student Senate. All right.
Is there perhaps a motion? Chair Booth. It's been moved and seconded to allow the author to summarize. Are there any objections? Seeing none?
Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, so I'll just kind of quickly run through these whereas clauses just so you have a taste of what we're looking at here. So this is our recommended adjustment of the student activity privilege fee. Student activities enhance the experience of student life here at K-State, and the student activity fee directly provides funding to those groups and organizations that benefit students and organizations across our university's campus. Some of the entities that are, or some of the organizations that are provided for through this fee are the Diversity Programming Committee, Campus Organization Funding, Multicultural Student Organizations, Open House, and Academic Competition Teams. There's also two institutional services that receive funding through this fee. That is the Center for Advocacy, Response, and Education, or the CARE Office, and the UFM Community Learning Center. As well as this, the student activity fee provides funding for graduate students to present research at conferences through the Graduate Student Council. Going through what was requested of us, a continuance was requested for DPC, Multicultural Student Organizations, Graduate Student Council, Academic Competition Teams, and the CARE Office. A decrease was requested for campus organizations of $10,850, Open House of $1,525, and the UFM Community Learning Center of $639. Looking through these, the privilege fee committee deemed a decrease of $14,170 for campus organizations and of $2,500 $6.25 for open house as appropriate as to realign funding with the utilization trends of those organizations. Looking specifically at DPC, DPC currently has a buildup of unused funds within their account that's in the range of $140,000 right now, as well as the fact that the Diversity Programming Reform Committee will be determining changes to implement over the coming few years. The Diversity Committee deemed a tiered decrease to DPC appropriate as to address their fund buildup and uncertain future. And I'll go a little more in depth on a few things here. So for everyone who's looking at the bill, if you can go down to the actual numbers down below, specifically looking at DPC, so tiered decrease, you'll see a little bit of weird stuff going on there, as we actually have it increasing over the 3 years, but in total, it is a cumulative average decrease. So that is actually a decrease of 15%. And yeah, that was basically our basic determination for that one was specifically their utilization trend has been dropping, as well as the number of actual applications to the committee has also been dropping. Last year, their utilization was only 86%. They only received 19 applications. The 2 prior years saw an average of 30 applications. And that just the fact that they have so much money in reserves, we saw this as an opportunity, along with their restructuring through the Reform Committee, to kind of cut back on some student dollars there. They'll be able to use their reserves, and then we can come back in 3 years after they've reformed and see how they're doing. Let's see. As far as our decrease to campus orgs, that's a 20% decrease. Kind of the same idea behind this one is just the low utilization numbers. So for fiscal year 17 through 19, we saw 79%, then 80%, then a 52% utilization of these dollars. And just looking at these numbers and utilization, the decreases that we are recommending should not actually directly impact just based on that trend. So an interesting thing with multicultural organizations. So while we have seen low utilization of that, actually around 60%, we've had some discussion with the actual leaders of these different groups and found out that some of them were completely unaware that these funds were even available to them. And so just looking at this fact, we felt that this was more on us as SGA rather than their actual use of those funds. So that's why we decided that just based off utilization, no cut there. What we did decide to do is if you go to section 5 on the actual contract portion of the bill, you'll see the section for multicultural student orgs. So section 5A, we decided that we were going to pull the funding for this fund section from the Reserve for Contingencies account. And we saw this as a good opportunity to use those funds that are sitting in that reserve account right now. That's currently somewhere in $326,000 right now. And we felt that this was, $14,000 in total is not a huge sum of money in comparison to the amount of reserves. So we felt this would be a safe way to utilize some of that reserve money and still maintain funding for the organization. Also looking at section 5B and C, this will come into play when we are looking at legislation later tonight. But do keep in mind that this was actually pulled from another chapter in the statutes regarding student activity fee funding regulations. So this was basically copy and pasted from there. And again, just keep that in mind, that'll come into play in a bill later tonight. Furthermore, another cut is to open house of 25%. Again, dropping utilization trend, we saw utilization of 83% in fiscal year 17, but utilization average of only 60% the past 2 years of this funding. And again, the cut that we were recommending should not directly impact based off of this utilization. And the last actual cut to UFM, they actually requested this cut themselves, which was impressive to see on our part. They basically came to us and said, hey, we don't really need this money, so we don't want to be taking it from students. And so we really appreciated that from them. I think that covers just about all of it.
Are there any questions for the author? Senator Belina.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Graduate Student Council? Yes, so the utilization percentage of the Graduate Student Council funding, that was consistently, I believe, fully used. Let me pull it up real quick here. Yes, please. Thank you. Does that answer?
Further questions? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to consider Bill 73? Chair Booth. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 73. Will the author please come forward?
Hi there, everyone. So it's kind of great that this bill is the next bill number because it does basically exactly what Donnie started to just get into. I actually went to the privilege fee meeting where they were reviewing student activity fee in the fall, and the multicultural organization funding. As they were discussing that specific component, we realized that dollar amount wasn't listed in the contract; it was listed in the statutes. And if that dollar amount is listed in the statutes, that basically prevents the committee from altering it at all. So that's basically all this does is strike all that. So I'm just going to read the whereas clauses really quick, and then if you have any other questions, just let me know. So whereas the Privilege Fee Committee has completed its review of the student activity fee for the 2019-2020 term, whereas a portion of the student activity fee is allocated for multicultural student organizations that host Heritage Month events, whereas the allocations and regulations for multicultural student organizations are included in Chapter 1 of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association statutes, whereas including the specific allocation amount in the KSU SGA statutes prevents the Privilege Fee Committee from amending the dollar amount an entity receives without additionally amending the KSU SGA statutes, and whereas striking the provisions regarding multicultural student organization funding and moving it to the student activity fee budget agreement will ensure that future privilege fee committees can increase or decrease the allocation for multicultural student organizations as needed. And so all that happened on this, you can't see with the strike through in the agenda, but just the multicultural student organization section was struck and it was copied and pasted into the contract, as Donnie mentioned earlier. So with that, I will stand for any questions the body may have of me.
Any questions for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to consider Bill 74? Senator Koger. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 74. Will the author please come forward?
All right, so Bill 1920-74, FY 2020 allocation of sports club fund to the Swim and Dive Club by the Travel Allocations Committee. Whereas the Travel Allocations Committee received and reviewed the Swim and Dive Club National Tournament travel request, whereas the Swim and Dive Club will send 10 members to the National Swim Meet on April 9th through April 12th in Greensboro, North Carolina. Whereas Chapter 48 of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association statute states that $67,000 shall be dispersed to sports clubs on a yearly basis, whereas the Travel Allocations Committee recommended that $3,995 be allocated to build the reserves account in the event of an unexpected mid-year funding request for the current fiscal year, whereas this event will foster teamwork skills and enable the team to compete at the highest possible level. Whereas Swim and Dive Club is registered with the Center for Student Involvement as an independent student organization, whereas the funds requests by this group and the funding recommendations are made as follows. Project 1, National Swim Meet, April 9th through 12th, Greensboro, North Carolina. So they requested $1,000. We recommended $1,000. And then be it enacted that upon passage of this legislation by the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President, and upon signing of the award agreement by the members and the Swim and Dive Club required by the University Swim and Dive Club, shall be awarded and distributed $1,000 from the sports club account. So this is kind of a unique bill. Basically how sports clubs works every year is we allocate $67,000 and we typically hold about 5% back for the event that these groups actually go to nationals, because in all of their budget requests, they're going to say they're going to nationals, and we could either allocate them all a little bit of money, or we could actually wait, hold off, and see who actually makes it, and then allocate them money that will actually go towards that purpose. So that's why this bill exists.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to consider Bill 75? Senator Beasley. It's been moved and seconded to consider Bill 75. Will the author please come forward?
All right, Bill 1920-75, fiscal year 2020, travel allocations for the Hispanic American Leadership Organization by the travel allocations. Whereas the travel allocations received and reviewed travel request of the Hispanic American Leadership Organization, also known as HALO. Whereas HALO will send 13 students to the 38th United States Hispanic Leadership Institute, also known as USHLE Conference in Chicago, Illinois, from February 20th to the 23rd, 2020. Whereas USHLE brings Hispanic Latinx leaders from all across the United States to one place to hear from leaders in their field. Whereas USHLE promotes the importance of higher education and the career prospects that can be created from attending higher education. And whereas HALO is registered with the Center for Student Involvement as an independent student organization. And whereas the funds requested by this group and the funding recommendation made are as follows. Project 1, United States Hispanic Leadership Institute, Chicago, Illinois, February 20th to the 23rd, 2020, travel, requested 1,000, recommended 1,000, be it enacted that upon passage of this legislation by the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Body President, and upon signing of the award agreement by the members of the Hispanic American Leadership Organization required by the university, Hispanic American Leadership Organization shall be awarded and distributed $1,000 from their account for the event described.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Chair Booz.
Yeah. You bet.
Further questions or corrections? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to consider Resolution 63? Intern Phillips. It's been moved and seconded to consider Resolution 63. Will the author please come forward?
Speaking of the relationship between students and technology, this is Resolution 1920-63, Opposition to Top Hat and Other Costly Educational Platforms by Andrew Booz, Creighton Glasscock, Hannah Heatherman, Alexandra Hornig, Matthew Orzakowski, and Sadie Polson. Whereas the Kansas State University Student Governing Association has a history of working to decrease the costs of textbooks for students, such as through supporting the Open Alternative Textbook Initiative. Whereas many professors make use of educational software platforms in their courses, including products such as Top Hat, iClickers, McGraw-Hill Connect, and Widely Plus. Whereas KSUSGA conducted a survey from October 16th to November 22nd, 2019, in order to quantify student opinions about these platforms, which received 152 responses. Whereas 91.4% of respondents have been required to purchase educational software during their time at KSU, and many have been required to purchase multiple products. Whereas these platforms are often not listed in the My Class Schedule portion of CASIS's Student Center, or in the online course scheduler catalog, preventing students from knowing which platforms they will need until they start their classes. Whereas signing up for these platforms requires students to agree to extensive end-user license agreements and give the companies providing these products their personal data, in some cases including location data. Whereas unlike textbooks, it is not possible to save money by renting or buying a used version of these platforms. Whereas for 63.6% of purchasers, these products cost $75 or more per semester. Whereas these products are often only used for small portions of a course's grade, yet make up the majority of the course's cost for educational materials. Whereas, for example, 41.9% of purchasers stated that these platforms were only used for attendance, often or always, despite the fact that attendance is typically a minority of the grade for a course. Whereas these products often do not cost the professor mandating their use any money, but cost the students who are required to use them to take the course instead. Whereas these platforms often duplicate many of the features of Canvas, such as quizzes, modules, and file sharing. Whereas Canvas is available to students for free and is already used in almost all university coursework. And whereas only 4% of purchasers liked these products better than Canvas, and only 5% of purchasers believe that these products are worth the money they have spent. Be it resolved that Section 1, Kansas State University Student Governing Association opposes the use of Top Hat, iClickers, and other educational platforms that pose costs to students in college courses unless they're absolutely necessary to fulfill the learning objectives of the course. Section 2, KSU SGA enumerates the following reasons for this disapproval. 1, the products are expensive, especially for students who already struggle with affording college. 2, the expenses posed by these products are more unpredictable than textbooks because students often have no way to know which programs the class uses until they start that class. 3, except for iClicker devices, it is impossible to save money by purchasing used versions of these products. 4, these programs require students to agree to multiple end-user license agreements with third parties and provide personal data to participate in a class. 5, students overwhelmingly dislike the requirement to purchase these products to participate in classes. And 6, students overwhelmingly prefer to use Canvas, which is provided to them for free by the university for their coursework. Section 3, KSU SGA encourages professors to utilize all features of Canvas to their fullest extent before turning to other educational platforms. Section 4, KSU SGA encourages Faculty Senate and University Administration to embrace and incentivize the use of Canvas and take other measures to reduce the cost and unpredictability of these platforms to students. Section 5, KSU SGA rededicates itself to finding ways to encourage the use of free or low-cost tech educational products. And Section 6, upon passage by the Student Senate and signature of the student body president, copy of this resolution shall be sent to the College of Agriculture Dean Dr. Ernie Minton, College of Architecture, Planning, and Design Dean Tim DeNoble, College of Arts and Sciences Dean Dr. Amit Chakrabarty, College of Business Administration Dean Dr. Kevin Gwinner, College of Education Dean Debbie Mercer, College of Engineering Interim Dean Dr. Gary Clark, College of Health and Human Sciences Dean Dr. John Bulkwalter, College of Veterinary Medicine Dean Dr. Bonnie Rush, Graduate School Dean Dr. Carol Shanklin, Faculty Senate President Tanya Gonzalez, Chief Information Officer Gary Pratt, Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students Dr. Thomas Lane, University Provost Charles Tabor, and University President Richard B. Myers. And so, yeah, this is the culmination of a lot of work that we've done. You saw that we put out the survey, and then you saw, you've read this, and I've read it to you as well. So I'm open for questions.
Nate and I were going to see if you could add the Vice Provost for Student Success, which is Dr. Leonard, in this list, or
Yeah,
Brown Leonard.
That's a good idea.
Questions, Senator Beasley.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It might not, actually. Okay, yeah, I looked at all of the colleges' websites and tried to figure out whether they were using Doctor, but yeah, I may have missed some. So, yeah, that's friendly.
Further questions? Senator King.
Yeah, of course.
Further questions? Chair Watkins.
Yeah, sure. If everyone wants to be a co-sponsor, you can, but that would kind of defeat the purpose.
Further questions? Senator Koger.
Yeah, I mean, SGA has very little forms of control over what professors can use. Like really what I'm hoping is that this gets in front of all the deans, this gets in front of faculty senate. This is us saying that we have this position and we're going to try to continue to do things to advance it. So whatever it does, I hope it does something.
Additionally, I'll add Jansen, Ollie, and I will bring it up in faculty senate personally as well.
Yeah, and the other thing I would add to that is just that like SGA leadership as a whole often has regular meetings with President Myers, Provost Tabor, Dr. Lane. So like this is like something that would be on our agenda, and having a resolution like shows the support that like 60 people voted to like approve this. So like this isn't just us bringing it up, like it has like your stamp of approval on it as well.
Intern Coordinator Colburn.
Right. Like currently we have the Open Alternative Textbook Initiative, which is with the libraries and all that. And like they're already kind of incentivizing not using these platforms anyway, because to get the fee to your department for using open materials, you can't be using things that have, get fees to students in the first place. But making that more explicit would be one way. Another way would be for IT to just kind of dedicate less resources to trainings on these sorts of things. Like I know they have done trainings on Top Hat in the past, and if they didn't do that anymore, that would be a way to incentivize saying, hey, we want you to try to use Canvas instead of using a Top Hat, unless there's like features that you have no other way to get, that sort of thing.
Follow-up granted.
I do not. That would be a nice data point to add to our conversation.
Further questions? All right, seeing none. Sorry. Seeing none, we'll now move into second open period. First, we have Senator Al-Abdullah. Did you still want to make your announcement?
So, hello everyone. So I will just talk about amazing program called Snyder Fellow. It's a one-year program for senior people who are gonna graduate, I believe, May or December 2021. So if you think you're gonna graduate at this time, it's amazing program. You're gonna spend entire year with Coach Snyder. He gonna coach you about leadership, how to become a great leader, and you're gonna coach a certain grade in high school, elementary school, or middle school about sport, and it's just amazing program. You're gonna be recognized at the halftime show in one of our games, home games, and front of 80,000 people you will be recognized, and that's just super cool things. I will really encourage everyone, if you want to have this amazing opportunity, I encourage you to apply. The deadline for it is going to be February 21, and you can find a lot of information at the Snyder website. So that's everything I would like to share with all of you. Any question?
Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, further second open period speakers. Caucus Leader Spellman.
Okay, I'm back, and it's about voting, but not for SGA. So as many of you know, I founded a student organization this year called Wildcats Vote, and I wanted to provide this body with the opportunity to learn a little bit more about some of the initiatives that we're doing this semester, and especially ahead of the fall election, which is just right around the corner. To start, the first initiative that Wildcats Vote is taking on is called the All-In Campus Democracy Challenge. It's something that I have been in close communication with Dr. Lane about. But the All-In Campus Democracy Challenge will be creating an action plan. It's primarily going to be outlining and looking at opportunities ahead of the 2020 election, so figuring out what resources are currently being utilized on campus, what faculty and staff and offices are being dedicated to civic engagement at K-State, looking at areas of opportunity for boosting those numbers. Just for reference, for the 2018 election, about 3/4 of students are registered to vote at Kansas State, However, for 2018, our voting rate was at 36%. And in 2016, that was at 45%. So we have a lot of room for improvement in those areas. So if anyone is interested in being a part of that conversation, we are looking for student organizations to partner with. But the regular Wildcats Vote meetings are Monday nights from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Our regular meeting time or meeting location is at in the K-State Student Union in room 208. So we will be starting the conversation with both students, faculty, staff, and administration starting on Monday. And those will be going on for the next couple months or so. So if you are interested, I would love to have as many student leader voices in the room. So please consider attending. The other update that I wanted to provide you was a new initiative that I'm trying to make a reality. So many of you know National Voter Registration Day happens on the fourth Tuesday of September every fall. However, I'm trying to start Kansas Voter Registration Day. So this is going to hopefully happen on the second Tuesday of April every year. I've been in contact with President Penny about this. I've reached out to other KBOR institutions trying to make this a statewide initiative. Hopefully, as I envision it, we'll have voter registration drives, kind of continuing the conversation on civic engagement ahead of the fall semester, though, because once we start classes back up in the fall, you have like 3 weeks to plan the event. It's crazy. Things are super busy, and it doesn't necessarily give us enough time to prioritize these important topics. Last thing I wanted to drop was our social media. So as of today, like 11, so like 10 hours ago, we are now on social media. So you can go to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's at Wildcats Vote. Wildcats is plural and vote is singular. But you can follow us on social media. We only have like one post on every platform, but we will have more as we go. I stand for questions.
Any questions?
Oh, one last thing. If you're not registered to vote, go to ksvotes.org. Go vote, go Cats.
Haley, what was the date that you were trying to get for the Kansas Voter Registration Day?
It's Tuesday, April 14th. So it's the second Tuesday of April.
Further questions? All right, seeing none, further second open period. Senator King.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, after Senate, a group of us like to go to VDUB. If that's something you guys are interested in, feel free to come along.
Question about that. If so, buy one, get one free, when?
I think they're like, there's some deal
I think it's like 65 cents.
Oh, yeah. John Italia.
Okay, further second open period speakers. Senator, oh, go ahead. No, Lily. Hey, Senator Hamlin. You ready? Or you can do them.
Okay, I was given the lovely job of Senate shout-outs tonight. So here we go. Ready? First one of the semester. All right, shout out to Chair Andrew Booz for always being patient and willing to answer my questions. Shout out to Hannah Heatherman for being the best mentor ever, and that's underlined and capitalized. You are so helpful, and I heart you a lot. Shout out to Faisal for being handsome as hell. Shout out to... shout out to Cole Carney for establishing an international student scholarship. Yeah. This one just says, I really like Tell's tie. Shout out to Sadie Polson, rock star, amazing judicial member of the year. This one says, for Aaron, two-time king of parking. This is, I hope all SGA members had a good holiday break. Shout out to the hot travel allocations chair.
Shout out to Jeff sorry. I used to not think you were cool, but now I think you're an all right guy. Shout out to College of Ed for those snazzy homemade artisan bespoke name tags. Shout out to Cameron Koger and his Speedo. Shout out to all of our visitors / interns. SJA is happy to have you. Shout out to Sydney Clements for being the best minutes taker. Senate shout out to Maggie Horton for being the SGA hype queen. Shout out to Jeff Ebeck for giving his first official K-State campus tour. Shout out to all of the interns for helping pack the room tonight. Shout out to Allie, aka Ron Burgundy. Shout out to Jeff. Congrats on your first tour today. Love, Dad. Shout out to the College of Business for adding interns to their group chat. This one says Marcus's hair. And shout out to Christian Shaw. Welcome back. Shao, welcome back.
Sorry. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead. Nick, we're doing it fast.
I'd like to thank Cameron and Alan for making this possible. What? It's fine. What? I'm on the clock? That's bullshit. Excuse me. Oh, come on. It's an ag school. You know what? Never mind. Never mind the speech. It was about how, yeah. Cool. First question. I prepared a lot of responses to questions or debate that might have happened. First one being, why are you doing this? And it's just, welcome back. Let's get some fun going and just set a good tone for the rest of the year. People call this a lame duck session, but I think this is a pretty good time. The second question that I was anticipating is why stop there? And by there I mean at Kansas becoming a state and the Civil War. What comes next? Because that's why Kansas State that's what it was originally about. The mission of abolition, equality, progress with fervor. It's Kansan to do that with fervor. This university was founded by abolitionists way back when. And it's not just about John Brown, but one of the first leaders of the American suffrage and feminist movement, Clarina Nichols, Kansan, the most successful labor rights party in U.S. history, Kansan, Esther Brown, Charles Sheldon, Charles Scott Jr., Julius Whalen, Aaron Douglas, of many broad backgrounds and successful benefits to the nation in the world of progress and so forth. Kansas Day began as and may continue to be a chance to reflect and return to that dedication to progress and equality. Now let's sing about Buffalo. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Home, home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Go Cats.
All right, time to go. Anybody else, second open period? I really did enjoy that, I promise. I cried. Last thing for second open period, I meant to say this in announcements. You've noticed homemade name tags. We're going to start keeping cardstock out there. Idea from DEI, so creds to them. Leaving markers out there, so if you're visiting Senate, you can have a name tag with Parla hits. Okay. Reference of legislation, Bills 72 and 73 will be referred to the Privilege Fee Committee, Bill 74 and 75 to travel, and Resolution 63 to Senate Exec. For announcement of constitutional revisions passing, Bills 10 and 20 were successfully ratified. And with that, we'll move into second roll call. Reminder, since we've been on break, don't start packing up until we're done. It'll go fast.
Al Abdullah, Al Madani, Beasley, Blina, Betancourt, Bond, Booz, Bowers, Brenty, Burke, Carlson, Carr, Clark, Clements, Coggeshall, Colisico, Cruz, Dowd, Frederick, Gallardo, Gillespie, Glasscock, Hamlin, Hines, Huffman, Jabin, Jonak, Kelly, Kerperin, Kidd, King, Koger, Kurzweil, Coleman, Lomshek, Lux, Matos, Meinhardt, Moore, Oxner, Orzakowski, Pelton, Payton, Phillips, Rivera, Rodriguez, Reichert, Seidel, Slichter, Smith, Snyder Ben, Snyder Blaine, Spellman, Wallace, Ward Kelly, Ward Shalin, Watkins, Whitmer, and Zimmerman. And we have 44 senators present.
All right, with that, I'll now be seeking a motion to adjourn. Senator Koger. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. This meeting's adjourned.